Well, this is a great time for me. I got to get on the calendar with some pretty special people, and this was a concept that we've been working on for a while. And instead of having a night of performance and interview with local artists, we're going to kind of turn the table, and we're going to talk from an artist on the national level and a venue owner perspective, because this is part of the whole Southern Colorado Musicians and Artists Cooperative concept that I have been trying to get through, and with our almost 3,500 members now, I guess we're doing okay. We got the Facebook page, we got the YouTube channel, and now the radio show. So I'd like to introduce Scott Wilson of one of Colorado's favorite bands, Tantric, and Christina Corbitt, one of the owners of the great venue we're at now, Sunshine Studios Live, down in the South area. And how's it going on this rainy day?
It's great.
Awesome.
It's always
a good day to be in the studio, that's for sure.
Yeah, you guys just said you came off a hike.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had a little hiking today.
Yeah. So you didn't get really wet though, did you?
No, actually the sun was shining out that way, so it was good.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Didn't rain till we were back here in the city, so.
I've been here since 1988. I don't know how long your family's been here with this, but there used to be a time way back then when it would rain every afternoon about 3 or 4 o'clock.
Right, and it was clockwork.
Yeah, it
I
was like a
remember that.
ritual. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So in talking about our town, and how this has come up. How long have you been around with the studio, Christina?
About 8 years now, total.
Has it really? So that was 2007, huh?
Correct, yes. For the recording studio part, and then the live venue just kind of grew afterwards. So.
Well, and that's it. I was living in Ohio, took a break and took a job there. So from between 2004 and 2009, I was gone. I came back, and I saw, lots of stuff happening, and knew I wanted to get back into it. I was pretty much a photographer way before, and as I was saying, part of the blues community. Even though I'm a metalhead from the very beginning, from the late 60s, but that doesn't show, does it?
No, not at all.
Yeah,
Of course not.
Hiding the ponytail.
Oh, that's it. Most people say don't cut your hair ever, even if you're losing it, because we won't recognize who you are. That's after doing a 37-year career with the Air Force, everybody else was different. I was the guy that stood out. But enough about that. So Scott, what brought you here to Colorado?
Life. No, actually I came here, Tantric played some shows here, and Christina and Tony, the other owner of the studio here, we discussed me working here and producing some bands here. I was looking for somewhere on the west side of the United States. I'm always been based out of Kentucky, and Tantric's based out of Louisville, Kentucky.
Yeah.
And we were I'm looking to expand over this way, and then we just kept discussing things, and last time we played here, went over some things, and I've been putting some feelers out with some other bands and things about recording on this side, and actually became a great idea, so I relocated and just cruised out here, and now here I am. And been really good, and had a lot of interest and a lot of excitement going on around the recording studio part, and of course the live venue too, which I love live music and any kind of music really, but coming to shows is what got everybody kind of started in music, I'm sure, and me especially. So being part of the live venue is exciting too.
So are you're doing a little bit of juggling of both. A musical career and building a business and helping out and trying to do some mentoring and stuff around town, which just is great stuff. We talk about this all the time on the show. Whenever an artist has a little bit of stuff that they share about what gave them any particular amount of success or happiness or anything like that, we try to encourage a lot of young bands. And all the stuff that I do, and I know you guys do too.
Yeah.
You have a nice headline show consistent, menu of artists, and then you stack local artists on top of that. And this is just a great way to get everybody more involved. That's kind of what I hear at my place, is that, well, we can't play the big places because we're not popular, we don't know enough people, we don't have a crowd to bring money into the venue like they want, and that's the whole pricing of the industry, that starting out it's really hard to get going for a lot of the young musicians.
Yeah, and we constantly encourage bands and young bands, to just get out there and play anywhere that you can and be heard. And music's about a community and sharing an emotion, and I constantly tell people that are like, what do I do? How should I get started in this? And I'm like, well, first thing is get a job at a grocery store. No, I don't. I'm just kidding. No, but I tell them just take every show, get better, get to know people. The more people you know, the whole music industry is about relationships.
That's a great point.
It is who you know, as bad as that sounds. Talent has to be there to support it, of course, but who you know, who you get to know, coming to see other live bands, hanging out with those guys, getting to know them, and everybody pulled together as a community. And the music scene here was so strong, and that's part of the reason that it drew me over here.
Mm-hmm.
Colorado Springs is a very artsy community, and it was very attractive because there's all kinds of music and it's very eclectic.
There is.
Everything from folk, country, metal, reggae, rock, everything is here, and it's kind of neat. Whereas a lot of the other big cities, on the east side or well, anywhere for that matter, you kind of get one niche, and that seems to be what that whole community's about.
Yeah.
But this is a small town feel in a bigger city, so it's really cool.
And still, I know you guys do an awful lot of stuff here, and you guys are probably here all the time anyway, unless you sneak off for a hike, right? But, do you ever go out to check out other genre stuff that
That was one of the first things that when he moved here, I said, we have some homework to do, just because I knew every venue in town, and I know at least 100 bands off the top of my head in Springs, and I wanted him to hear every single one. That actually included one of our journeys driving down to Pueblo on a maybe Tuesday night where nothing was happening down in Colorado Springs here, just because I wanted him to hear one of my favorite bands, and that ended up actually having him in the recording studio just to record one of their songs to try to get it out there.
So who was that?
The Widowhood Effect.
Yeah.
They're amazing. They're phenomenal musicians. So.
See, this is the deal. I know, if you look on Reverb Nation, I did that the other day because I try to call up people to say, hey, do you want to play over at my little coffee shop,
Mm-hmm.
And I understand the hierarchy and the economy of scale and all that stuff of bands, and they're determining prices and stuff like that and their expectations. So, that doesn't stop them though.
Right.
And that doesn't stop, a country guy from playing classical music with the Philharmonic or vice versa. A lot of people that I know play different genres just to play and make money and be seen, and it works. There's a lot of downtown inner bands that have been going on forever and ever, and will they play your place? I don't know. That's the whole thing that I'm hoping we're getting to be able to talk together and see how we can do things like that, because my friend Eve came down from Denver to do that show with Adrian Osborne and Cindy St. George, and they were just excited as heck to be able to come down and do that and hit a different audience and try to get their influence in, and I don't know if any kind of how do you bring bands into the venue?
Basically they contact us.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've either seen us on iRocky, the live streaming, or I guess heard about us in town, and so basically I just try to put them together on a show.
So you put together a lineup pretty much of.
We have other big booking agencies too, that we bid on shows along with other venues in town. So as soon as we get one of those, we offer them to bands in the area, you know, to try to build up their resume of who they share the stage with and everything. So.
Well, that's where I, you know, the initial offering was, you know, being a photographer and taking a lot of pictures of bands all over the state and going to like the International Blues Challenge in Memphis every year. You see all this new talent in the blues genre, and then they always want to come out, but if they're not well recognized, well heard, they don't have a fan base, you know, they're like, wow, nobody wants us to play. It's like, well, that's not it. Nobody doesn't. It's not that people don't want you to play. It's just getting the exposure, doing what we talked about earlier, is mentoring and finding the business end of the industry just as exciting and challenging as the musical end.
Yeah, and it's all an interesting, you know, if you look at the industry as a whole, you have 3 different facets of that. And what was it, last week, where I did a mentoring thing here with a band, a performance clinic. Part of that, they have a manager, and he came and we all kind of discussed, you know, that side of it, the business end of it, and pointed out some interesting things to them. And that's all exciting because it's all evolves around music. You know, the live streaming thing here that we do with the live shows, you know, that's streamed all over the world, and that gets the guy who's somewhere else and can come here on vacation, you know, they know about the venue, they get to hear these bands that are from here in the community, and you know, you can hear that in Zimbabwe if you have the internet.
Well, and that's the concept I do with the Southern Colorado Musicians and Artists Cooperative.
It's a great thing you're doing.
And it's 3,500 members, and they are all over the world. I go around on Facebook, and anybody that has blues in their name, you know, I'll check out their page and invite them to come. And so, with the corresponding YouTube channel that I have, it's been seen over in 150 countries.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's huge.
You know, it's huge, and there's 125 subscribers every week with the radio show. Which, thank you. Every week with the radio show, we get about 5 more subscribers.
Wow.
That's great.
So it's definite, you know, there's a definite invitation for you guys to post on that page anytime for any reason, every show. I don't care.
And that's a great thing, and one of the many reasons that brought me here to this venue was, you know, they want to make a difference in the local community and the music community here. And, you know, Christina was always talking about, you know, yeah, I saw this band, and you know, I gave this band, I was talking to them about that and gave them pointers. And you know, the big thing that I tell local people, and I've told you, play every show that you can and get to know those relationships.
Even if there's only 5 people in the audience, right?
And those people heard your stuff, you know. And to me, I mean, I do things like that. I'll go out and do an acoustic show here and there, and it's exciting to me just to get to hang out with people and convey my emotion through music to those people, and hopefully they get it, you know. And that's what it really should be about. And a lot of the kids today, you know, that I talk to, they have the right head on their shoulders. And they know, okay, man, you know, I know I've got to pay my dues, and I know I've got to work hard. And then, you know, you have the few that don't have that right attitude, that think that, well, I've got talent, I should be able to get anything that I want. And, you know, then they wind up getting really disappointed pretty quickly.
Yeah. You know, and the same with the same people that play around here, you know, 3, 4, 5 nights a week, all over downtown in Manitou and Colorado City.
Sure.
Their hearts are in the definite right place, and they get discouraged even faster because they're playing so many times and no one seems to reciprocate what they're expecting, you know. So it's real important that the blues community is pretty strong. There's a bluegrass community down in Colorado City that is pretty strong. You know, we send people from Colorado to the International Blues Challenge in Memphis every year.
Yeah.
There's 4 blues societies in Colorado, and we all send somebody, you know, which, I don't know, is that a concept that you guys might like to think about, is doing a, you know, some kind of a challenge to get all the bands out and see if there's something in it for them? I mean, really, the more I talk to bands on the show, they are just really open to constructive criticism, because the ones that really want to make it,
Yeah.
they want to know all this stuff, and there is no dummy's guide, you know.
Right.
And the real business end of the deal is real brutal, isn't it?
Yeah,
You know?
it's a tough
It's
thing.
cutthroat.
It's very, very tough, and the music industry as a whole, as far as mainstream music industry and radio and even venues, you know, the market's way down. You know, during the recession, the first thing that goes is entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, that made the whole market kind of go down. Things are starting to recover, and, you know, people are gonna go see shows, but people aren't gonna go pay. This was a few years back, you know, they're not gonna go pay top dollar as they used to.
Yeah.
And everybody kind of adapted, and we floated through, and of course we're going to, because it's art. You know, everybody's gonna share their art at all expenses. But, you know, point of that is music's gonna live and push through. So we got to keep, you know, everybody with the right attitude and just make things happen.
Well, that's, you know, I'm a member of the Blues Foundation, and they just built the Blues Hall of Fame out in Memphis, and that's the mission of the statements that they want to make clear that, you know, the blues audience is a certain demographic age.
Sure.
And we don't want the genre to die out, even though it's been, you know, almost 100 years of blues, right? Not everybody made top dollar, you know, Lead Belly and Robert Johnson, they all died penniless,
Yeah.
you know.
But they gave them something to sing about.
Oh yeah, and
exactly.
everybody's taking their stuff, and they're, you know,
Yeah.
everybody was so disappointed when they found out that Led Zeppelin ripped off Willie Dixon for everything.
Right.
But it was still great music, you know?
Yeah.
The evolution of stuff is just, it's amazing with the studio quality of
Oh yeah.
production, and, you know, that's what I noticed when I was listening to, you know, I listened to a lot of tantric music since we set this up.
Oh wow. Okay.
And you guys,
Is
you know,
that
I
good,
know,
or is that a good thing, or is that?
well, you know, I love you guys way back, but, you know, in the very first beginning, of course, it wasn't you guys. I mean,
Right,
you
right.
came into the band later, and that's,
Right.
you know, first I was going to start off with a question. Hey man, did everybody know that there's a real famous guy here in town from a big worldwide arena band? And I got a funny story. There was a rumor going around town that, yeah, some big famous musician moved into Colorado Springs.
Yeah.
And nobody really knew who it was.
Oh wow.
You know, so I'm investigating, I'm checking it out, I'm going, who could it be? You know, and somebody did let it out, or more than a couple people let it out. It could be Frank Hannon from Tesla. And when Frank played here in town a few months ago, I went up, because we're both from Sacramento. I was a bouncer in a bar where he started out as the pre-Tesla band City Kid.
Oh wow.
You know, so 30 years later, I come up to him in a bar in Colorado Springs. He plays here a lot. But I asked him, I said, you moving here? And he goes, no. I mean, just no. But, you know, I tell everybody too on the show, we're a town of 500,000 people.
Yeah.
You know, there should be a lot more participation than there is. Even though, you know, you guys nobody is rich, right?
Right.
You know?
Right.
But everything continues, the music's coming, everybody kind of tightens their belt.
Yeah.
Everybody hopes for better days,
Yeah.
you know. But I don't know what the answer is, and that's, I'm not trying to build an answer. I'm just
Right.
trying to say, you know, let's work together and see how we can broaden this community, use my tools, you know.
Sure.
I said, hey, when I get a logo, can I put it up on your media boards, you know?
Oh yeah.
That's the whole thing. We want to make that radio show grow, as well as the other parts of the medium, and do the push and pull, and, you know, I like what you're doing. And I can't wait to see what more is gonna come. You know, summertime's coming, the weather's gonna clear up someday, right?
Oh,
It will be
absolutely.
summer. I've been promising him like how amazing this place is in the
Yeah.
summertime and how warm it is, and he's freezing riding this motorcycle in the rain.
Oh, how warm it is. No, you know,
I'm like,
Kentucky-
I promise summer is like, you know, July, August.
Yeah, it was warmer here in the winter than it was in Kentucky, but now it's gotten colder and
oh yeah, it gets humid in Kentucky, you
Yeah.
know.
We play a little game. We look at an app on our phones and
Oh,
we're
yeah.
like, did Lexington win today? Or did Colorado Springs? As far as like if it's like 50 degrees and rainy or
Yeah.
70
Yeah.
and sunny.
Well, I'm gonna cut this down and see what the next topic we can bring up, and you can stop that, John? Because I wanna see.